they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at
Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. I was letting just like suspense then. Hope you're all safe and well from you around here. Give it a like, give it a short, give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment, give it a subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you're all safe and well. Happy Monday. Weekends go too quickly, don't they? The weekends go too goddamn quickly. And we had a bit of a funny Saturday, didn't we, in all honesty? One hand taketh away, one hand giveth, so to speak. So we had obviously the news. It came out, was it 8 o'clock UK time, about Declan Rice finally all sorted. Hoo-ha about all that. Myself and Anton did a little show. It was quite a long show, really. I'm thinking about it on Saturday night. I gave my thoughts about. I was a bit let down by the sort of announcement, so to speak, but that's just me. And then we played Perth Glory in 6-2, and Bowen gets 2, and good goal from Mbama, and Skamaka's on the score sheet, and as I said before, doesn't matter who you play against. The whole idea is to get the reps in, and to get the goals in, and 10 goals in 2 games, not bad, and still this 3 at the back type thing that seems to be staying around for Moisey. So we'll see what happens there. And then we've just had like since Friday, there's been a deluge of like transfer activity or transfer rumours and interest and inquiries and all that type of stuff. And by all accounts, Davey Moyes was speaking at the press conference ahead of the Spurs game tomorrow, which we cover at Hammer's Headlines, or a few of the sort of the interesting bits. He did say we were sort of like, a little bit running behind because of the Declan Rice saga. So the idea be vis-a-vis means we should be speeding it all up a little bit now. So hopefully might even see some bloody signings. Anyway, let's see. We've got the chat. Yeah, I hope you're well, my friend. Toby's in the chat. Taylor's in the chat. Please no Maguire. Interesting. We also did about Craig Dawson, didn't we? We'll talk about Maguire in a minute. Alex, hope you're well. Happy Monday. Should make a band out of that. Afternoon, Papa Smurf. Dan's in the chat. Chances of a West Ham show without mentioning Declan Rice. We've already mentioned him, so there you go. But we'll move on. Ranko, Dr. West Ham. Am I the only one who thinks back three Zuma again? And me too, tailor-made gaming. And we'll probably come to that in a bit anyway. Good morning. Or loads of people here. We need to sign one. Someone would be good to see a statement. Yep. Where have my hammers gone? Puppet, have you resubscribed? Because we did a new thing. Not a new thing, but we went down to one, because I think you was on the top tier, weren't you? So to save you a bit of money. So you might have to just look at that, and your hammers will come back on, my friend. Let me have a quick look. Let me have a look on the members, on the current members for you. Can't see you up there, mate. So it might be because you were on the top tier and you've gone down. But don't worry, I know you're one of us. Fran, I hope you're well. Not impressed with some of the chat about Steining's role or lack of at the moment. I just think we don't know, do we, David? We just don't know. Preferring for depressive hoofball and set piece hopefulness next term once Moyes gets his targets of Maguire and JWP. See, JWP is one I think he's probably the least likely of all of them, in my humble opinion. And we'll go through the latest. GP, good afternoon to you. 2 up, 2 down. God, so Adam's a poo. My hammers is now a proper colour. Well, it's because it changes as you the length of your subscription, GP. I think Maguire and Aged would be awesome. No, Maguire and Dawson wasn't at that price. No, agreed. Bunch of virgins. The window is open yet again. Calm down for fuck's sake. We'll go down if we washed up. Some washed up players like JWP and Maguire. Now that's interesting, because for me, and I've had this sort of discussion today actually about the people we've been linked with, and for me, I think the whole, and we're talking about Palhinha, Joao Palhinha, because I think that's a really key one, I think, to be honest. And so for me, I think there's really is something which we can. There's two sort of things. One, we need someone to slot in that Declan Rice shaped hole. Who shall not be named shaped hole straight away. We haven't got time because we've still got the season just about to start. So I think buying someone who can slot in is great and needed, but I then think we need one for the future as well. But we'll come back to that. Got a nasty bug. Haven't stopped throwing up since there we go. As nothing apart from set piece specialist. Toby Zaguna. Who do I thank for the membership? No idea, my friend. Get early for the indeed. Don't mock the mods. Right. Anyway, let's talk about some Trini's in the house as well. Nice to see Trini. Let's talk about let's talk about Maguire the first thing. Come on, then. Everyone's talking about it. Anton did a show about it the other day. In terms of the latest, well, not the latest, but obviously you'd have read that he actually has released a statement in response to Ten Hag stripping him of his captainship. Saying he'll work hard for the shirt, yada yada yada, all that bullshit. But apparently, it's West Ham are ready to test the resolve of Maguire's resolve to stay at Man United, according to the Telegraph. It reported a couple of days ago that he was happy at United and happy to fight for his place after falling down the pecking order with under Ten Hag. But with Maguire needing to feature regularly, which he will need to this coming campaign in order to get into the Euro squad next season, or the end of this season coming, which a lot of people have forgotten about. The fact is, we've got the Euros coming up, so the likes of Scarmack needs game time, the likes of Maguire would need game time to get into the squad or in the starting lineup. He needs regular first team football, and that could be where West Ham tempt him. Now, personally, I don't see us spending a lot of money on him. I spend us seeing maybe on a loan deal. I could see us getting him on loan. But then again, as I said, the whole Craig Dawson thing was no one fancied Craig Dawson when he came in. So any name that comes in now, I do not dismiss because we don't know. And actually, Maguire, the way Man United play, very high line, doesn't suit him. West Ham play quite a deep line like Leicester do. So I think if it was, if a back three if they're doing the back three, Aguerd, Maguire and Zuma, fucking hell, that's a strong back three. Doesn't matter what you say, that is a strong back three. So I think there's definitely we've got a new member, Greg. Thank you, Greg. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining the Barmy Army. I will add you to the list. We're going to do the draw for the Side West Ham football at the end of today. So you'll be added to the draw. Don't worry about that. But Maguire, we've got 5p linked with Chelsea. See, that's the thing. I can see him fitting into lots of teams, to be honest. Lots of teams he could be fitting into. And I think he's a good, it'd be a good option, definitely. Still loyal to Man United despite losing the captainships. Is he though? We've just got in the same way that it's a very nicely worded tweet and saying that Declan Rice was a nicely worded open letter to the fans. I think he's well pissed off and he has to move if he wants to get. He ain't going to get regular game time at Man United. Losing the captainship has basically told him that. You've got Varane there. You've got the little lad Martinez. So they're ahead of him in the pecking order. Maguire would be a good addition. Needs to be 20 million or less or a loan deal. I'm sorry, Maguire does not improve us. And in my opinion, Dawson was better. I don't see Maguire coming to us with the same work ethic as Dawson. Well, if he wants to get the England squad, he has to. So a loan deal, I think, would be good. I'd go for loan with option to sign permanently. In Greece, Phil's in Greece to Wednesday. Lovely, enjoy it. Ballon only cost 3 minutes, so he did. Guys, can I just make a comment about recruitment? Why recruit when we have some really decent players in the youth squad? We do, but I don't want to throw them all in because then that puts pressure on them in terms of their development. And Barman will get more game time. Potsy will get more game time. Dan Chester's is a strange one because he played really well, but I don't think he'll get as much game time as the other two. He won't move down south. He costs too much. Loan or buy. He's a regressive signing. We just don't need a first choice centre back. If we play a back three, then we have to look at our fullbacks, certainly on the right, as need wing backs. Well, I mean, wing backs, left side, obviously, Emerson, right side. Talk was Max Aaron's, but I wouldn't mind. I think Tilo Kehrer can do a good job on the right way as a wing back. I don't think Soufal's a good wing back, but I think Kehrer could do that. As long as we sign him, no Jesse Loan. Maguire isn't shit. There we go. Bowen to keep the captain's armband. I don't think so, but we'll see. Can't remember when we could have. I can't remember when, but we could have signed him for £2 million. I think that's before he went to. Was that before Leicester or early on in his Leicester career? I think it was. Ken, hope you're well. Nice to see you. I would say no. Maguire not the answer for me. He will need replacement in 2-3 years time. But yes, he will do. But Ogbonna will need replacing in 2-3 years next year as well. So for me, you need to get some in for now and some in for the future. We talk about 2-3 years time. Louise Howe will be 23, 24 by then. Casey will be early 20s, 22, I think, by then. So that's the idea. Maguire thing, Trini, I thought he was good when he played at Leicester. I think Man United game does not suit him. I think if he went to someone like Leicester or not Leicester, but Leicester-esque side who plays a deeper line, I think he'd be better. I generally do. Oldest defence in Europe. That ain't going to change, Hammers. That ain't going to change, is it? Because Oggy's on the new deal. Cress is on a new deal. Fabianski's on a new deal. So that ain't going to change this year, mate. That ain't going to change this year. Everyone's talking to each other. There's no pace, no common sense, can't pass. He's no better than we already have. Maybe. You're probably right. You might be right. Wait and see, innit? Wait and see. Russie B, though, has given him 7 out of 10. I can see this one happening. I can see the stars aligning a little bit because of Scott McTominay potentially as well. And we'll come to Scott in a minute. Let's talk about Joao Palhinha. Now, this one sort of broke. Well, I mean, according to TalkSport, West Ham are now locked in talks with Fulham for their defensive midfielder, Joao Palhinha. We've been linked to the Portuguese international since the beginning of the summer, but any chatter has gone relatively quiet over the last couple of weeks, partly based on Fulham's valuation of Palhinha, so we looked elsewhere. However, yesterday, later last evening, news broke that we were in talks with Fulham again, with a fee believed to be mooted around the £40 million mark. Now, part of this, I think, is interest from Liverpool, because obviously Liverpool seem to be losing all their midfielders to the Saudi Arabian League by the looks of it, and the fact that we finally got some money now that we can actually maybe pursue people we were looking to pursue. But I can genuinely see this one happening, in my opinion. In that, now I know he hasn't got a sell-on value, but for me, we need someone who can slot into Declan Rice hole reasonably easily. He can come in, he can play there. He's a Premier League proven player. He was, as I said to Ken on Facebook, he was based on stats, he was the highest performing central defensive midfielder in the top 5 leagues in Europe. He would come in, slot straight in. Granted, he wouldn't be a one for 6 years. He might get 4 or 5 years. Might get 4 years out of him at the top. But I genuinely think he'd be really good. Genuinely think he'd be really good. You're probably right. You're probably right, Paul. We'd rather spend 50 million on Harwood Bellis to cover Zuma when he's injured. Media Becco off to Mark Maitamo after 2-year deal after release. Oh, there we go. Locked in talks. Does that mean? Yep. It's like escape room, Greeno. All signed him all day. Long experience. Could play, use the ball well, Harry. I think I don't know. I think we're talking about the thing there. We ain't going to sign him as we won't spend. Well, apparently, it said 40 million is what's been touted. If that's the way you're thinking, then even if we do buy Maguire, then we'll need to buy 2 defenders replacing him in the summer, as you mentioned. Well, I don't think we will replace Maguire next summer, but Oggy you will be, and I think Oggy then gives an opportunity for someone like Louise Howe to move up or Casey to move up. So yeah, Mikey, thank you very, very much. Let me just make sure. Let me put Mikey in. Let me put the two new ones. I'm just gonna put my list so I don't forget. All right, Greg Lane and Hammers Mikey. Thank you very much for joining the West Ham Network Barmy Army. What we got? The 40. Okay, these signings make me think they are Moyes' interest. Not sure why he has a say. He should be told to work with who he work with. He's only for short term is not our future. Yes, I agree, Trinity. I totally agree with that. The only caveat is he has to still, when they say he has the veto, well, he has to because in the day he's the one who's going to be picking the side. I grant it from a team perspective, and he knows if he's given players that he doesn't play them, then he's out in his ear anyway. So I think you're trying to find a balance to try and find a happy medium with everyone. Would be solid, but I prefer Alves. 3 years younger, wouldn't camp. See, Alves is getting a bit of hate on the old tweet. People don't not like Alves. He didn't play very well yesterday in for Mexico. Could do this job. They could, but do you want to throw Potsy in straight away as a replacement? I don't think you do, mate. I genuinely don't think you do. I think what you want to do is you want to make it a situation where you can bed him in this year. Downs, by the count, I don't think Downs. I think he's a good squad player, but I don't think he'd be the first choice replacement. Alves would be better suited for us than Palhinha. Did Fulham not put? They originally put 80 million, but apparently that was just to see what happened. Let's pray if we buy him for 40, we sell him to Saudis in 2 years. There we go. David, thank you very much. Wow, another one. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. Another member of the Barmy Army. I'll put you in the draw for the signed West Ham football. Disagree, mate. However, I do understand why we are being linked with so many homegrown. I do believe we will sign a homegrown player for sure. Yeah, I think we will. Is there any rumours about Areola going to Wolves? Got any legs? I think it depends about where Sarr happens, isn't it? Because Sarr, but I can't see. I think this is Areola's time to take over, so I can't see it happening. Generally can't see it happening. Alves looks decent, but Palhinha has already been a success. That's what I'm trying to say. He can there's no bedding in period really for Palhinha in terms of understanding the Premier League. He can go in straight away, bosh, off he goes. You know what I mean? So, whereas, if we got Alves, he's got to adjust to the Premier League and Not saying we don't get both of them. Potentially, we could get both of them. Or Palhinha and Zakaria or whatever. So, Russ, who do you think will be the most improved player in the West Ham squad this season? And Barmer. We'll start the season with Downs and Souček with Connor. Let's hope not, mate. Let's hope not. Right, okay. So I give Palhinha, I give him a 7 out of 10 because I could see this one's got legs, definitely. And the way it broke as well, it broke sort of so out the blue. Well, I haven't seen much else been spoken about Bob Talksport, but we'll see. Let's talk about Habib Diallo, the Strasbourg striker. Now, according to the Express, West Ham have had a £14 million bid for the striker, rejected. Multiple moves are now in the pipeline, and an interest in Delino, who's 28, have been made concrete of a cash offer, apparently. And West Ham believed that was going to be an opening proposal. You understood to have seen it. I mean, he scored 20 goals in 37 league appearances last season. And the Express's journalist Ryan Taylor says club sources have expressed to disclose whether West Ham have been have seen an opening bid rebuffed by Patrick Vieira's side. Sources not commenting, but believe Strasbourg did rebuff the opening proposal. It shouldn't be too difficult for the Irons to get the move moving. He's valued at £17 million according to the Keep, so quite close. 42 goals in the past 4 campaigns for Strasbourg, and if we go 2 up front, he would be useful, and he wouldn't carry the pressure of a Schumacher, Sebastian Haller type price tag. Relatively low cost, really. And I think he could really do something potentially. Michael, hope you're well. Nice to see you, mate. Paying off his wages. Still talking about Harry Maguire. We need pace and youth, not outraged, overpaid, non-sell-on players. Okay. Yep, we do. Yep, but I think never had a word with about the strike. Yeah, maybe Agent Nevin's got involved. So obviously now, although I don't think he's been officially announced though by Strasbourg, I believe. Anyway, for me, someone like Palhinha, not Palhinha, Diallo. He's. I mean, we talk about pace. He's got it in a bundle. He's a very, very quick striker. He's scored in a very poorly performing side in terms of Strasbourg. I think they finished 15th, and he's still notched up 20 goals in 37 league appearances. He's quick. The only slight caveats is that he is he Senegalese? So there could be a possibility that he could be in the AFCONs. But I think it could be. Strikes me the next Patson. That could be the next Dafra Sacco. In it. Offer 60 million a bag of minstrel. Sounds good. AD says ADJZ 1990. Thank you very, very much for becoming a new channel member. Let me just add you to the list for later on. 1990. Thank you very much. Oh, God, no, I thought I'd put you in. DZJ 1990. There we go. Thank you very much. Good call. I rate. Sorry, talking about Telekira. Why not Beckett? Well, there's been no news about Beckett at the moment, but he's the same price range, really. So he's pretty similar. What's happening with Irvine? Is he still working bits? Or are we joining the dugout? No, Irvine never left. Irvine changed his role. And that's what people don't realise about it. And that really annoyed me because people say, oh, everyone wants to leave Moisey. Irvine has basically worked continually with Moisey, I think, for about 20 years now. So basically for Alan, he had to change his role from being assistant manager, and they brought in Ben McKinley to replace him, to being a technical advisor. So basically, he would do all the scouting, and he like one of the chief scouts. He did a lot of scouting during the Conference League as well, because he had to go see stay with his family up north rather. And he's just signed. I think it was on Saturday. It was announced that he signed a 12-month extension. So that's why. Are they thinking about replacing Antonio? I think we have to eventually. If you want pace, why don't we go for Sarr? Yeah, great shout. Loves playing a winger up front. He's got a decent record as a striker. Irvine was on compassionate leave. No, Irvine had changed his job, Michael, from being assistant day-to-day dugout, training ground, to being a technical advisor. So he took a pay cut and then went up north to stay with his family. And so he's been given a 12-month extension on that contract, which is great. So Diallo, 6 out of 10 for me. 6 out of 10. But also it's worth saying that obviously Strasbourg's CEO, director of football, is former West Ham winger Mark Keller, who hopefully one day we're going to get on the show soon. Let's talk about Harvey Barnes then quickly. So there's loads of conflicting reports about Harvey in terms of what's happening with him. Where's he going? Who's he going to? All that type of stuff. And apparently, according to the Daily Express, the price tag's now 30 million quid. That's what Leicester have set. He's still got 2 years left in his contract, and they can demand a high fee for him. It's the Premier League, increase, and also the homegrown increase, tax, so to speak. It was reported previously they were holding it for 40 million. And then the Times suggested that it could be 35 million they're holding out for. And by all accounts, 30 million. There was talk of him having a preference to London rather than Newcastle. So obviously he's Leicester, so he's like halfway really. So he'd rather go down than go up. Newcastle then apparently have putting bids in for Diaby, for Bayer Leverkusen, and the guy from Napoli, who's got the really long name beginning with K. So no one really knows what's happening with Harvey. I really want him, but that's just me. Whether he's on the list, we don't know. We do not know. All these rumours do not smell of Tim. What is going on with Cornet? Indeed. What is going on with Cornet, mate? What is going on with Cornet? I think it's mainly because of the injury issue that people didn't want to risk him on the flight, to be honest. It's a long old flight, isn't it? And if you're not 100% fit, you never know. All the international hammers have gone back to training today, so he'll be imagined in there. Apart from a couple of management stints, Irvine has worked with for over 20 years now. Nope, he's in the same role. He's staying in his technical, but just an extension of his contract. Are we selling Benny for Barnes? Who knows? 30 million a bargain for Barnes. I think it is a bargain, to be honest. Actually, you make a good point. We have an aging squad we need to replace, but still have senior players in the squad. This transition has to be spot on. You're totally right, Fetty Fap. And that's the thing. Every player we buy is not going to be a 20-year-old, 22-year-old Brazilian who are going to be great players in 3 years' time, because we could be, God forbid, you could be in the Division 2 by then. So we've got to do. It's got to be a balancing act. So that's why I can see someone like Joao Palhinha coming in and just concentrating that midfield. Defense is okay for the time being. I wouldn't mind a Maguire in there just to give us a bit more options there. That he's looking at next summer transfer window. In terms of Oggy leaving, in terms of Cresswell, by then Ollie Scars will have another year under his belt. And then obviously the goalkeeper situation, Fabianski would have left. Sufel will be in 1 year left of his contract, I think. So that would need some sort of, for me, it's the midfield and the attack. That's what we need to concentrate on. But if we can get a loan deal for Harry Styles, for Harry Maguire in, I'll take that. I wanted Barnes for some years. Yeah, me too. It's a deal. It's a steal. It's a sad century. Get Harvey Barnes in, move Bone up front. I'd just go Barnes and then Scamacca up front. If they're doing the two up front now, which is what they're sort of doing, be interested to see what happens. But yeah, young player, great sign. He's 25, so he's entering his. He's not as young as people think as well. Prepare for Lingard, Mark II this season. 30 million all day. We need to wrap this one up. Well, let's hope so, mate. Get Sarri, move Bone down the middle. Don't let Moyes make their transfer decisions. He lost more money in these transfers than any other manager in our history, but he spent more money than, so vis-a-vis, you would lose money. And actually, he didn't lose. The Haller deal wasn't his deal, so he didn't really, and Felipe Anderson wasn't his deal, so he ain't lost that much in terms of his ones. 30 million, a no-brainer. Barnes all day, good shout. Is as brittle as a cornet. Is there a slower club in world football in the transfer market? I think we're one of 3 clubs in there who haven't bought anyone yet. Well, certainly we have for sure more. Have we said Tatar? Not necessarily. We've missed the boat in terms of his transfer. What's it, sort of minimum release clause? But doesn't say we go from again. But we could. We may. Still an interest there. Pat Sharp has more chance of playing a full season than Cornet. Love seeing Mully on the pitch. Alex Scott, we're talking about in a bit. I watched Alaves. He was an engine. Get him in. And Maguire, we're cooking. Moyes looks challenging. Next season, great season coming. Let's buy the best, says Vincent. Right, so Harvey Barnes, 7 out of 10. I might go 6 out of 10. I might drop that a little bit because things take too long. Let's talk about Alex Scott. Let's have a look. Alex Scott. So, according to the Telegraph, we are still in for him. We're still interested in Alex Scott, despite the fact Wolves have put in an opening bid. They're the first club to make a move for him and made a £20 million bid. We know he's a sensationally young talent. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be one of the best midfielders in the country over the next few years. 25 million is an absolute bargain, in all honesty. And I don't understand why we now, because we've got money, we haven't gone out and got him, in all honesty. Even if we pay 25 million over 3, installments, that's 8.25 million for the first installment. He's got everything we need, I think, in terms of being a potential. Well, the next big thing coming out of West Ham, definitely. I think the only thing is where he fits in the side. And we know there was talk of this meeting. If it happened, if it not happened, we don't know. But I think it's going to be. I think whoever he goes to, it gives me really sort of. Do you remember last year we were really everyone wanted Keane Lewis Potter, and he got someone else. And he went to Brentford and has done fuck all really since. In all honesty, so I think this is our one this year. That's for sure. If we don't sign Alex Scott, we have massively missed the boat. Main thing is get the bids in. No more rumours. Indeed, Carl. Looks a decent prospect. Barnes, Newcastle, Scott. We take the whole window to decide things. We do, Michael. Scott and Khaleesi both being linked with Bournemouth is criminal. Will both be stars in 18 months. Don't get Bournemouth have got a good manager now as well. So no disrespect to Gary Neal, but they've got like a La Liga manager. So I'm sure they'll probably cast the net a little bit wider now. Scott is the future. He can make a fortune for any club he goes to. Get him bought. He should be first or second purchase after the CDM. Yes, But do you think he would start this season? I don't think he would do, personally. Because if you're playing the 3-5-2 type thing or whatever we're going to do, I don't think he would start. I think if he played the 4-2-3-1, he may well have started. I mean, you want him to play. I mean, he's a Guernsey Grealish, so you want him to play as a 10, really, ideally. He is cover for Bone on the right. He does play right wing as well. So, yeah, and I think with Lanzini going, there's that spot for that sort of midfielder who can play as a 10, and I think he could do that. Scott is Rice number 2. No, he's a different player. Different player to Rice. But I know what you mean. 30, 25, who would you choose? Probably Barnes at 30. In all honesty, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Don't kid ourselves. Attacking football means nothing. Sat there all game miserable as Sim because he doesn't like the football he's on show. Reverts type in the leagues as Mikey. After then, I think Bristol City just waiting for a West Ham bid. The Guernsey Grealish is one for a long-term replacement for Pat Mania. He got a great shout. 20 million plus Coventry. Yeah, we should be utilising him, I think. Scott and Barnes would be great as long as we get to keep Benny. Scott would be awesome as a deputy to Paqueta, also as a mentor. Play Bowen up front like he did at Hull. I think he might be. I mean, you play Scarmacker and Bowen up front. That's a 2, isn't it? That's a 2. That's a 2, my friends. And then you play a 3 of Paqueta, Palhinha, and Zakaria or Souček. Whew! We are cooking on gas, my friends. Russie B gives him a 6 out of 10 because I think a few other clubs are sniffing round. Let's talk about Scott McTominay, another player we're heavily linked with. Potential double deal with him and Maguire has been touted in the region of 50-60 million pounds for the combined fee. Personally, I think in the same way with Joao Palhinha, I think Scott McTominay makes probably the most sense as a, in quotation quotes, replacement for Declan Rice. In that he's a little bit younger than Palhinha. He has got bundles of Premier League experience. Technically entering his peak, because I think he's about 26 now. He's got an eye for goal because his formative years where it's a striker. And I think if we can get him for, say, 30 million, well, actually, I think 30 to 40 million was what his price tag was on his own. I think it'd be really good. And it's interesting because you have different views all the time here. So there we go. What about McTominay? There we go. Newcastle will bid 75 for Pat-Man. They ain't got the money, mate. They ain't got the money. Scott can play right wing, cutting so he can. It'd be good to watch West Ham change formation in the game. Would you get Vlasic in number 10 and move? No, Frano, he's gone, mate. In my opinion, McT is nothing but a thug, says Mr. Doofus 58. Every day we should get Scott McTominay, best link. Agreed, moving away from 5 at the back would be ideal. So there's an upgrade to Souček. He's played out of position as a DM United, but he's much better for Scotland playing a bit full. That's what I mean. So you'd get someone, so you'd get someone who's a Joao Palhinha in as a CDM, and then McTominay is the slightly more advanced, and then Paqueta is the more advanced one to that. And I think 6 foot, was it 6'4"? Good shout. Would suit West Ham, let's be honest, but not just for me. I know he's not the most household name, but I think for what he can bring and the fact he's Scottish as well does help with, with Moisey as well. He's, and we're looking for like leaders and looking for people. Yeah, Scott McTominay could be a leader, for the next 5 years really at West Ham. He's 26, so McTominay no more than 25 couldn't afford more. I like Scott. Don't underestimate the influence of Steve Clarke and development of late players. He's improved massively. Who is the main man for Scotland? He is, and he plays more advanced because he was a striker when he was a youngster, so he knows the back of the net. Palhinha would be my choice of DM. Looks solid and can play a long pass. Yeah, I like McT. Bit of energy, steal and goals in midfield. Afternoon hammers. That'd be well. I like a thug. Forget Palhinha going to cost too much. Well, I mean, if 40 million, I think, has been touted for Palhinha. United are desperate to offload players off 15 million. See what happens. 3-5-2, the formation Alonso plays. Who knows? Well, we sort of have played three at the back, but you don't usually play two. Well, we kind of sometimes we play three at the back, play the two up front. But yeah, I know what you mean. Quick shout to Kent walking exploit Peter 50. He is. Alaves is my choice. He would fit perfectly. Yeah. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Who else we got on there? Let's talk about Felipe quickly. Apparently the interest is still strong. I think it's back about a week ago. Mundo Deportivo reported that West Ham were in advanced negotiations with him. 3 days later, they reported that the defender's agent has informed the La Liga side about West Ham's strong interest in him. And then today, ABC Sevilla states negotiations between West Ham and Real Betis are still alive. It said there's been meetings in London last week with Felipe's agent intermediaries to advance the transfer. Report also states that all parties have made clear progress for the future agreement of Felipe to West Ham, and they're waiting to sort out some internal issues, internal issues. Apparently, Real Betis are waiting for West Ham to actually make a formal offer on him. So, but it was claimed that Mark Noble is waiting for Moyes to return back from Australia to take the next steps. So I don't know what's happening there. But apparently West Ham and Real Betis intermediaries are continuing talks and are convinced that progress has been made between the two sides. So whatever the fuck that means. Felipe McTominay, that's a lot of cards, is indeed. Give us an exotic rumour, something spicy. Well, Felipe is quite spicy. Look at his face. I mean, I give him 7 out of 10. I give him 7 out of 10. Who else should we talk about? Let's talk about Zakaria as well. Apparently, we're still reported actually in West Ham are reportedly accelerating talks with Juventus to sign Zakaria. According to Tutto Sport, West Ham are willing to pay 11 million. Juve wants 17, so I imagine we'll end up meeting at probably about 14 for the 26-year-old, who has apparently been banished from Juventus's pre-season training camp. So there we go. Tutto Sport reckon the Hammers and Juve are currently £6 million apart in their relative evaluations of the player. 15 million quid sounds like good value in an inflated market, particularly for midfielders. We know, as I said, we know he's had what's that? We know he's had injury issues, but again, I said look on transfer market, and I think Nick reiterated it as well. He's had one bad injury in the same way that Zoom had a really bad injury of his knee. But he missed less games than Zuma did over the last 7 years or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, we'll be happy with any Harwood, Bellis, Philippe, or Souls. 15 million. Any other teams linked to as many players as probably, yeah, Evil, probably. But again, we don't know, do we? We don't keep an eye out for him. Nigel Collins is the main man, but thanks. But Kent, the thing is like with Nige and people like that, after sort of the early 2000s, their knowledge isn't as strong. They're from they're back in the history, but the most recent ones, the same as Martin Goddyman. He's like literally he'll tell you he scored in 1971 against Leicester and you know all that. But if I ask him who scored like 3 seasons ago in this game, he wouldn't have a clue. It's funny, isn't it? Looks like a mistake to me. Oh, interesting. He said, "Oh, he talked. Does that mean one negotiating while driving go-karts?" Yep, that makes perfect. 15 minute. I mean, that's pump money, isn't it? That's pump money. Bournemouth in talks with AZ. See, with the left back with Kirkes, whatever his name is. See, that's something that we've got the money now. So we know we've got the money. So for 8 million quid, that's 8 or 10 million. I think that's pump money. Isn't it? Will be a solid second DM, not as reverse replacement. 15 minutes fair. And he'd not play every game anyway. I think you're not going to. Or personally, I don't think you're going to get rid of Souček. I don't think that side are going to come in and buy Souček. So Zakaria as a backup to Souček, I think it's good. Keeps Souček on his toes. And then if you bring in a Palhinha and Zakaria, I don't think that's too bad, to be honest. 15 million, 3 to 4. Contract's not cheap. will be another full-time occupant of the Andy Carroll suite. Tough job for the lads upstairs. Does Moyes put out a strong team tomorrow, opt for the experimental approach? Well, he can't put so much of us. I mean, I reckon it'll be a similar side to the side that played on Saturday, in all honesty. Spurs' first pre-season, it'll be our third. So I think he won't put he'll put a mix out, because then if you lose, you've put a mix out. If you put your full strength side and say we got tonked by Spurs tomorrow, then that's not a good look. But if he puts loads of kids out and then flips them at half time, then it does make a difference then. Put Karen Brady on deals to do. She did a pucker job with the Rice deal. Could Max Aaron's play? Yep, definitely. Cover for Bowen. No, I think he come in as not right wing, but there we go. Sorts you for 10 years. We've got Ollie Scarles ready to roll, but he's a bit early for him. I love Kyrgios, brilliant player if you're looking to change your philosophy. Yep, record player you should buy. It's long-term replacement for Cressy. But if you buy him, that curtails Ollie Scarles' progress into the pathway, and everyone wants the pathway kit, isn't it? I'm just playing devil's advocate, but that's what it is, isn't it? Can play CDM. I can't see him getting more game time. Spurs have taken their full squad apart from Lloris. But then they can, because of international a bit early in it. Cornet could probably cover as left. It can. Taking the wife to Otis tomorrow for a first West Ham game. Oh, West Ham Spurs, what a great game, Evil. Zakaria, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. And just a bit about Alvarez. I thought I had a slide, but obviously I clearly didn't. In terms of Alvarez, where is my Alvarez update? So 35 million quid, Daily Express has said, and that's what are willing to consider a fee around it in terms of IX for the Mexican international. Daily Mail reports that a bid is set to be made in the next couple of days. The 25-year-old has been earmarked as one of Moyes' top targets to replace the England international, and he suggested that his asking price has now dropped to closer to the £35 million. 33 appearances across the Champions League and Europa League as well. Meanwhile, he's won 2 titles with Ajax. I mean, again, he's gonna need some bedding in time. He is. Every player needs some bedding in time, and that's why I think if you buy, say, 2. And then like a Palhinha and an Alves, or a Palhinha and a Zakara, it gives that other player more time to develop into the. Pardon me, didn't sleep very well last night. Into the side. So anyway, bringing in Enquiries would give Scars a few years to come through. Place Emerson a couple of years maybe. He's in left back for me, so Ollie would be fine. Well, I think if we're playing 3-5-2, he's left wing back, isn't he? If we're playing our 3-5-2, then he's a win back, isn't he? So so just make a silence, as David Stacey. I totally agree. He's better than Palhinha. Could we actually afford to have both? I don't know if he's a different type of player. Palhinha's got a bit of, but what I like about Joao Palhinha is he's got a bit of class about him as a player. He's quite classy on the ball. Alves is a bit like a terrier, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. I think we're currently up to 115 players have been linked to so far. So no doubt I'm gonna have to sort out a new column, because we're almost at 120. 130 was I think when we hit last season. I'm gonna go back and check. It might be 125. So well on course to make a record-breaking month. So in terms of transfer windows, obviously we've still got a month and a half really until the window shuts. So plenty of names still to them. Sign off 50, under 50 indeed. I mean, that's almost 5 Premier League squads entirely. Somebody asked who has the most improved player this season. Emerson is a great shout for that trophy. Great shout. Can you imagine Palhinha and Carl? Who are you imagining him and? I'm waiting. And surely they can at least. Well, that's the thing, old man Shaggy. I think we were linked to 130 last year, and only we signed 8. So that's about 8%, something like that. Palhinha and Felipe, red card central. I think if you got Felipe and Alcaraz, because he likes to put his foot in. I think Palhinha's a little bit more classy about that, baby. Very fating Downs doing the holding run was a guy doing the box to box stuff. I generally don't, mate. I'll be honest. Palhinha's a good ball and could be as well with a tackle. He plays the ball simply. That's what I mean. That's why I like Palhinha. I think he's quite classy on the ball. Palhinha, McTominay. Whew. No betting in needed there. Palhinha, Pac-Man, and Anana, please. Oh, yeah, great shout. Great shout. That'd be nice. Thing is, Shaggy, it has to be spot on. We need somebody who will hit the ground running. That's what I mean. I think you need someone who's definitely that Premier League experience, as well as buying someone who is more, for the future. I think we need a bit of both. We need again to tap up Amrabat. Amrabat's fucking awesome player, isn't it? I'd love him. I think he was the best player on the pitch when we played him. Right, where is? Let's go with the. Let's do the draw. So this is to win a signed West Ham football, signed by the West Ham, the Europa Conference League winning side. And this will be going out to someone. So in terms of entering this, if you're a channel member, you automatically get entered into this. We've had four members. Kent likes Anana. I like Anana. I think he'd be amazing. Could McTominay be Moyes' new Fellaini? Who knows, says Dr. WHU. I don't know. Right, let's have a look. Who's we going? West Ham faithful, John Matomsky, skipper. We got Wally World. We got ADZ90. Let's see. We got Dave. Who we got? We got Hammers Mikey. Who else we got? Taylor May Gaming. He's just joined. Could it be Taylor? It's Taylor May Gaming. Taylor May Gaming. Congratulations. You see, it could be anyone. Taylor May Gaming. Congratulations. So if Taylor Made, if you can send me the your address to this email address, westhamnetwork@gmail.com, we can get that signed football sent out to you when I can be bothered to go to the post office. So well done. Congratulations. If you weren't lucky, don't worry. There's more draws. We'll have more draws coming up. We have at least one a month. So keep an eye out. And it's like a couple of quid a month. Supports the channel. We've had 4 new members today, so it's pretty mental. So thank you. And then we can it's just about building the community, and also it means that come the new season, you'll be getting exclusive content as well as some other little perks, which will be dropping as and when they all come through. So well done, Taylor Made Gaming. Brilliant. Lovely stuff. Nice to see. Let me just stop that. So you see, there we go. That's best £2.99 you've ever spent in it, my friend. Can you get to come to? You can get the post office to come. I know, and actually, the postman is a subscriber. Our postman who comes and picks is a subscriber. The only trouble is with the I have to take, because it's the football. It's a bit different. The postman does come, but with the packages, it's a little bit different because I need to get it weighed. So that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. Do you think we'll sign anyone? Do you think we will realistically sign anyone this window? Yes, I do, Stephen. And hopefully this week. As I said, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. I'll have Hammer's headlines in a couple of hours' time, talking about the David Moyes press conference for the Spurs game, which is quite interesting in terms of his thoughts about Declan Rice and Ogbonna's thoughts about Declan Rice. Another link of a player we've been linked to as well. And all that jazz, really. All that jazz. You'll be seeing a lot more stuff coming up shortly as well. And until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.